All right, folks, sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are here live tonight with the Mississippi Racing League at Texas Motor Speedway. As the pace car's rolling off, we're going to quickly get through the gridding order here. On pole, 98 of David Washington. Starting outside will be Andrew Fernandez. Third will be Curtis Young. Bruce Ackerman in the 51 fourth. Jake Dorton will roll off 7th. Nick Crawford 8th. Keith Nelson will be 7th. Ken Richardson 8th, Judd Danielson 9th. Brian Johnson will run the top 10. Kevin Fetty will roll off 11th. Glenn Meering 12th. Tyler Roberts 13th. Charlie Sanborn 14th. Gary Weston 15th. Chad Payne 16th. Mike Donahue starts 17th. Jonathan Wall 18th. And Joshua Ramos will round up the field in 19th. It seems that when we had a little bit of an update here, it kind of screwed the pooch on everything, and we got thrown all out of whack, so had to get in here as fast as possible and get everything done right. So luckily we were able to catch it by the pace lap, so we will be able to cover flag to flag coverage here as the pace car makes its way through turns 3 and 4.
All right, guys, I'm sorry for the delay here. We're going green. Here at Texas Motor Speedway, we just had a crash rush here to get things back up and running. I don't know what happened, but we're back up running and live here. Hopefully things stay smooth for the rest of the evening.
And as they complete the first lap, David Washington is going to maintain the lead for lap 1 here of 250.
All right, and we're on lap 3 here. Things are starting to sort out single file for the most part here. We'll try to keep things rolling and keep these cars on 4 wheels.
So right now we're looking at the 28 of Brian Johnson. He is
caution.
currently in 8th spot, and caution is on the track. It looks like it will be on the 14 of Gary Weston, so let's rewind it back here a little bit and see what happened here. See him coming down the backstretch here into turn 3. He's got the 1 car, Charlie Sanborn, below him.
It appears he just ran out of real estate.
Well, it looks like he got a little piece of that wall before it just got the car loose and upset and sent him through the grass, but nonetheless, tough break for the 14 of Gary Weston. So now that we are back up and we have everything going for the most part, we want to welcome everybody tonight to the Mississippi Racing League Bucks Unlimited 375 here at Texas Motor Speedway. We see everybody coming down pit road to get some service here, so what better camera than to look at our pit exit here to see everybody coming down. And of course that's not the right one that I want to see. There's the one we want to see, everybody making it down to their pit stalls. See everybody electing to take 4 tires and fuel here. as the field catches the pace car here in turns 3 and 4. David Washington manages to make it out with the lead, the 98, and I'm going to probably butcher this name. It's very hard for me to pronounce it. We have the 88 of Andrew Ferniers. Sorry if I'm butchering it, but third place goes to Curtis Young. Bruce Ackerman is our fourth place car. Tyler Roberts, fifth. Nick Crawford, sixth. Jake Dorton, seventh. Judd Danielson, eighth. Ken Richardson, ninth. And Kevin Fetty will round out the top 10. So the lights on the pace car are out. We are less than a quarter of a lap away from going back green here at Texas. We will restart on lap 8. See what David Washington can do here tonight, because we know every time he gets out on the track, he definitely takes everybody to school. So it should be an interesting restart. So the pace car goes down pit road. Is going to lead us into the box. Green flag is out. We are back racing here. Texas Motor Speedway, lap 8 of 250. See Bruce Ackerman there get a little piece of the wall, but nothing too major. He was able to pull it off there. As we see the 7 of Jake Dorton. The field makes their way out of turn 4 here to complete lap 8. Everybody's pretty much back to single file racing. See the 85 of Judd Danielson there. He is currently being scored in 7th position. Right now, it seems the focus seems to stay on the 85 car right now, even though the field is fairly spread out. Ahead of him, we can see the 8 of Nick Crawford rocking the NASA paint scheme. Took me a little while to figure out what it was, but after I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, I like that. Let's go ahead and take a little drop down here and see the speeds that they're running right now. As they come out of turn 2, he's right close to 190 miles an hour and just under 200 miles an hour as they haul it off into turn 3.
As the 5's battling back on the inside of the 8. He's trying to take that position back. He does not want to go down without a fight.
And that is the battle for 5th spot. So looks like Tyler's going to make it there. So hand 5th spot back over to Tyler Roberts, and I'll put Nick Crawford back to 6th after Nick tried passing him. But we see what looked like to be a little bit of a crossover. Now, iRacing did come out with a new build, and from what I've been told, the A car does handle a lot better than it used to. It used to be extremely loose on the fixed setup, and it seems like with this latest build that they have kind of straightened that out, and it handles this. Right now we see the 8 of Nick Crawford. He's going to challenge again to the inside of the 5 of Tyler Roberts. See if he can, he's going to make it there as we see Tyler go wide. That's also going to allow the 85 of Judd Danielson to get by as well. So that will drop Tyler back to 8th. As we also see the 10 of Ken Richardson and the 7 of Jake Dorton now making the move on the 5 car.
Geez, that really messed the 5 up, having to swing that far wide. Really slowed the car down.
And it used to be that we'd see these cars more responsive on the middle to upper groove, but now we see these guys can dive it right down in the corners, which obviously means iRacing finally took a step in the right direction with the fixed setup for this A car, and you can actually bring the car down there and keep the car relatively planted without danger of spinning it out. Because it used to be you tried to drive it in the corner hard, it was like you had marbles under your tires, or you're driving on an ice skating rink and you forgot to bring your skates. But it seems that the setup has definitely changed the car for the better, and we're going to see probably a lot more exciting racing out of it. As right now, your current leader is still the 98 of David Washington. Right now, he has a 1.1 second lead over second place. And I know it's early on, but I don't think it's ever too early to do what, Alan?
Oh, I'd say let's crank it up.
I agree. All right, we always love that crank it up cam. As right now, we are seeing the battle for sixth spot. We can see some significant right side damage there on the 51 of Bruce Ackerman, but he is still holding on to that sixth place spot, as we see the 7 of Jake Dorton right behind him. Giving a brief run through here on your top 10 right now. Out front, it is still David Washington holding a 2.1 second lead over second place, the 88 of Andrew. That's what we're going to call him for the rest of the race, so we can actually get the correct pronunciation for his last name. Third place is the 94 of Curtis Young, Nick Crawford in fourth. The 10 of Ken Richardson is in fifth. Bruce Ackerman, as we were seeing, is in sixth spot. Jake Dorton holds down the seventh. Judd Danielson is your eighth place car. The 5 of Tyler Roberts is ninth, and Jonathan Wall in the 2 will round out your top 10 here, as we have 24 laps in the books here. All right, there we go. We just got to update. The 88 is Andrew Freenons. So once again, apologies for butchering that name a few times, but now that we have the correct pronunciation, I can say it correctly, and I will not feel so bad for butchering it anymore. As we see right now, the 51 of Bruce Ackerman all over the rear end of the 10 of Ken Richardson as they come out of 4 onto the quad oval here. Meanwhile, we see the 5 of Tyler Roberts. See the 7 of Jake Dorton. He's up high, trying to make a move on the 85 of Judd Danielson as they come out of 2. Now we see the 91 of Kevin Fetty in the Boudreaux's butt paste car. Gotta love that paint scheme. So that'll shake things up a little bit. That'll move Kevin Fetty inside the top 10. He is being scored right now in the 9th position, or 8th position now. Jonathan Wall being scored in the 9th, and Keith Nelson in the 71 is our 10th place car.
Tyler Roberts down on the low side, off pace. I wonder what's going on there. That car is headed to pit road.
Well, I know a couple laps back we did see him get really close to the wall, but I didn't see any contact, so unknown issues there. Maybe we can get a little bit of a report later on as this run progresses. Meanwhile, out front, the lead continues to stretch as David Washington now has a 2.2 second lead over second place, the 88 of Andrew Freenaz. And it seems that the reason why we saw the 5 car down off pace is his ping right now is up over in the 1,000 range, so we might end up losing him due to a throughput, but safe call on his part by dropping that car down to the bottom and getting down off the racing surface before it would have caused any incidences. So we see lap traffic already coming in to play here as we are only 31 laps into this race. That is the 43 of Chad Payne. He is being scored a lap down in 16th position. So the field very much spread out here. We're only 32 laps into the race, but these drivers are already demonstrating just how much of a blistering pace that they can maintain with these cars here at these tracks. It impresses me every week when we come and we broadcast this league. This is undoubtedly the best group of guys that I've ever seen run the fixed A car. And for them to run the entire NASCAR schedule, that takes dedication right there. And with the distances that we're running, it's just under 3/4 distance. So it definitely shows that these guys are 110% committed to this league and to running these cars the way they do. And week in and week out, they have done nothing but put on a show for us. Last week we were off. They were at Martinsville as they feared it would have been a repeat of what we saw at Phoenix, where we had 17 cautions for 80 laps in the Rattlesnake 375, but we're back this week here live at Texas, and next week it'll be just as interesting as they move on to another great track.
So it appears something's going on with the 91 of Kevin Fetty as well. He's quite a bit slower. The 71 and the 2 of Jonathan Wall have just pretty well walked right by him.
I did see Kevin get a little high coming out of the corner a few times, so he might have scraped the wall a little bit and scrubbed some of that speed off, which allowed the cars to get by him. And we have a caution on the track. All right, now we're trying to look through and see exactly what happened, and if we can find it, we will give you guys the replay on it. As right now the field gets collected by the pace car here out of turn 2, undoubtedly we will see the entire lead lap field come down and once again take a full service here. As we go to the pit road cam, I do believe we found the source of the caution here. We've got a car on pit road that is smoking, so appears we are having massive server issues tonight with iRacing, as right now everybody is popping in and out. It appears tonight iRacing is not having anything of racing wanting to happen, as we're seeing a lot of blinking going on there. The only thing I can do is check my quality and everything, and it looks like we were having a bit of a spike there as I'm looking at the meters. We're having a bunch of, looks like the page fault is staying fairly high. So looking back now, the caution was brought out by the 43 of Chad Payne. Right now, as we fight through a little bit of technical difficulties that are going on right now between the server side of iRacing here. We're going to take a look here at our top 10. Right now, the 88 of Andrew Fernas is out front. Nick Crawford in the 8 is second. Judd Danielson third. Ken Richardson fourth. David Washington will come out fifth. Keith Nelson sixth. Brian Johnson seventh. Kevin Petty eighth. Jonathan Wall ninth. And Glenn Meering will round out the top 10 here.
The lights on the pace car are out. We are doubling them back up. We will get ready to go racing here as the pace car comes back around. And the green flag drops it. They are off as the 88 gets a good jump on the field here. He'll be followed by Judd Danielson and Nick Crawford. As the whole field pretty much gets single file again.
You know, these guys, I've come to expect that they seem to get spread out and organized very, very quickly here, and that's one of the things I love the most about this league. They are very patient with each other. If somebody else is faster, they're not going to sit there and try and throw the block or try and stall out an upper line, say at a super speedway or whatever. They will give the faster driver the spot in hopes that maybe, hey, it's just a strategy call that you're not running your car as hard as another one and you just want to let them go out there and burn their stuff up. So it's not often that we see that happen a lot on iRacing. Usually if somebody's trying to battle for position, you're going to see a cat fight as they're doing so, but that is not the case here, and that is just one of the multiple reasons why we absolutely love covering this series here.
Because the 98 is all over the backside of that 85.
We can see he let out of the brakes there a little early, which is definitely a character move right there, because that's what a lot of the fast guys that I know typically do. They will get right on your bumper, make you want to drive the car a little bit faster into the corner, and then right there you can see the run. He is right back on the bumper of the 85 of Judd Danielson as they go on the backstretch, and he's looked low there for a second, but decided he's comfortable where he's at right now, but he is definitely getting the run up off of the corners. We have another caution on the track. The field slows down immediately because the pace car is just now coming off of pit road, so the entire field did a great job getting slowed down and not piling into each other. All right, looks like this one was brought out by the 22 of Joshua Ramos. We're going to back it up here and see just exactly what happened here. We see him coming out of turn 4 through the quad oval. He hauls it down into 1 and 2. Everything's looking good so far. Appears he just runs out of room, clips the outside wall, a hard lick to the inside wall, and then back to the outside again. And unfortunately, that looks like it might be a little bit of terminal damage there on the 22 cars. We could see extensive damage. The entire front clip has been ripped off of that car. Meanwhile, pit stops have taken place here, and once again, the 88 of Andrew Fairnos has made it out front. Judd Danielson has made it up to the second spot after stop. Nick Crawford in the 8 will be our third place car. The 10 of Ken Richardson will be 4th. David Washington in the 98, 5th. Brian Johnson, 6th. Jonathan Wall, 7th. Charlie Sanborn, 8th. Keith Nelson, 9th, and Kevin Fetty in the 91 will round out the top 10 here at Texas Motor Speedway as we are most likely going to be restarting this race right around lap 50.
And your top 10 did all do 4 tires and fuel by the looks of their pit time. They range from a 14.1 to a 15.1. So, you know, they're all pretty tight together there. So I would assume they all took 4 tires and fuel.
Taking a look at our leader right now, Andrew Fernas started on outside pole tonight. He has led 10 laps. He is still currently leading. His fastest lap was a 27.413. And obviously the last time by does not count because it was under caution. Going into the summary, we've got 47 laps in the books out of 250 here. We've had one lead change, and that was the exchange from the 98 to the 88. And right now we are working our third caution for 10 laps right now, but that number will increase as the pace car is still out. But we do expect the lights to go off this time by, and we will restart on lap. So lights on the pace car are out. We will double the field up again, get them ready to go. We will be roughly almost a quarter of the way through the race. If this is a 200 lap race, it would be a quarter, so it's a little under that, but already they've shown, even with the 3 cautions, that they can still hold very impressive speeds. We see the 28 of Brian Johnson. In front of him, we see the 10 of Ken Richardson, the 85 of Judd Danielson. As the pace car makes its way through turn 4, it'll be making its way down pit road, and we will restart this race on lap 50. Pace car is down. Everybody's getting wound up. Green flag is out. We are back racing. We see the 28 of Brian Johnson on the inside making a move on the 10 of Ken Richardson.
It's interesting to see that Ken's able to hold himself out there on that outside line and keep pace on with that inside line.
He let out a little there. Meanwhile, out front, it is still the 88 of Andrew Fernas with a 0.3 second lead over second place. The 85 of Judd Danielson, as he's coming under fire right now by the 8 of Nick Crawford and the 98 of David Washington as they come down the backstretch. Coming into 3 and out of 4, we see that Nick has already made it by, as well as the 98 of David Washington, so that's 2 spots down for Judd in the 85. He is going to move back to 4th place now. Nick Crawford up to 2nd and David Washington to 3rd. But I don't expect it to stay that way for long. I do believe we will see the 98 of David Washington trying to make a move on the 8 of Nick Crawford here.
Yeah, they've got to do something because it does look like that 88 is checking out. So they need to get things organized here and run him back down.
As just in that lap, he's already pulled it out to a half-second lead.
And there goes the 98 under the 8. So he will move up to 2nd position.
We knew that was coming. So now he's going to run down the 88 as fast as he can.
Yeah, and again, we said it the other night in one of the other broadcasts. You know, clean air is key here So if you can get that nose out in clean air, the car's going to run better. It's going to stick to the track a little better.
As we see right now, it is a 0.4 second gap between first and second, but I definitely see the 98 of David Washington being able to start reeling in that 88 here as we start getting more spread out here and the racing continues.
Yes, David has chopped that lead down to 2.0. Yeah.
0.2 seconds.
Yeah, 0.2 seconds. I mean, he is.
And it's still shrinking. It's about to drop. Now it's down to 0.1, and he's by turn one, he'll probably be right on the rear bumper of the 88.
As the 28 is going underneath. Geez, I can't see that number.
That would have been the 2 of Jonathan Wall. As right now we're seeing it, David Washington has closed the gap down. He is maintaining a 0.1 second gap behind, which is literally nothing but a car length. As right now they are in 1 and 2. He's got a good run off the corner. So now that gap is down to 8 hundredths. As we see him get an amazing run again coming off the corner, that's going to put him right on the rear bumper of the 88. So look for the 98 to look low as soon as he can get the opportunity to get that nose in some clean air and take the lead away from the 88. Right now, I think it might just be a little bit of mind games going on. I know the 88 is fast, but we've seen with the 98, anytime that he gets on track, he just absolutely takes everybody. They need to bust out a pen and paper and take notes from him. I think right now he's just putting some pressure on the 88, letting him drive the car maybe a little bit more aggressively and use that to his advantage and make the move when he wants to. As right now, I think he's perfectly content to sit in second place as he is right there on the back bumper as we saw. We're working a lap 63 here. It is still the 88 of Andrew Farnaz out front, but David Washington is still stalking him right there in second spot, right behind him. While we look back, this is the battle for third and fourth, and now fifth place here as the 2 of Jonathan Wall and the 10 of Ken Richardson. We'll give a brief run through again of the top 10. Still out front, it is the 88 of Andrew Fernaz. David Washington still holding down that second spot. Nick Crawford in third. Brian Johnson fourth. 2, Jonathan Wall, who we see right now is about to be challenged for position by the 6th place car of Ken Richardson. Judd Danielson in the 85 is 7th. Keith Nelson in the 71, 8th. The 51 of Bruce Ackerman, 9th. And Kevin Petty rounds out the top 10 here as we are 67 laps into this race already.
Well, it's good to see the 43 of Chad Payne did manage to get it back out on track. He is 2 laps down. It appears the 22 of Joshua Ramos is still on pit road.
So we can see that motor is no longer smoking. That is definitely a good sign. Let's pull down a little drop on it to see his speeds. So we definitely can see he is down on power, as the rest of the pack is able to hold 180 plus going through the corners. But still respectively, he hit 200 going into one, so they must have done something right there in the 43 team while he was down on pit road, as his car seems to be now getting back up to normal race pace.
As the 22 of Joshua Ramos just is now exiting pit road onto the backstretch. And he will be scored 6 laps down.
It's good to see that they've got a nose clip back on that. I believe it's a Toyota Camry. It's kind of hard to tell. But he is definitely off pace right now. Let's see what his speeds are. I think he's letting everybody go by right now, as that is a Toyota Camry, although right now it looks more like a Toyota Corolla. As we saw, unfortunately, he just brushed the wall coming out of 2, which got him loose, and he side-slapped the inside wall with the driver's side, which shot him back up the track, nose first into the outside wall. So the JGR crew did a good job there getting another nose cone out and replacing that. As we could see, the hood is still fairly damaged there on the right front, and he's got some right rear damage there to the spoiler. His speeds aren't really that bad though. He's still able to hold 190 going on the backstretch, so it's going to be now a battle of not particularly going for the win, but maintaining for as many points as you can get. Anytime stuff like that happens, a lot of drivers are quick to just disconnect from the server, but in the long term, you got to think of what's going to happen if I decide that I just want to DNF myself out of this race, and then when we get closer towards the end of the season and you're sitting way back in the points and you have nobody really to blame but yourself, unless the car poses a danger of being too slow and not being able to maintain race pace and causing more harm than it would be to stay out there and try and collect points.
As the 85 of Judd Danielson is closing in on the 10 of Ken Richardson here, as well as both of them are kind of hovering behind the 2.
As we are watching that unfolding right now. Nothing has changed up front. Andrew Fernaz still has about a 1/10 of a second gap over second place of David Washington.
Oh, as the 85 of Judd Danielson clips the wall exiting turn 4.
That's going to definitely hurt a little bit. It allows the 51 of Bruce Ackerman to get by, which will move Bruce up to 7th and Judd back to 8th. A great recovery though, being able to just barely get a little piece of that wall and keep the speed loss to a minimum. As we see the 51 of Bruce Ackerman there running the Lowe's paint job, we see he has gotten as much of the body damage fixed as possible. Unfortunately, they are not allowed to repaint those cars on pit road, so he's going to have those personality stripes running down the right side of that car for the remainder of the race. But in my opinion, if you've got a clean car and you
aren't leading,
you're not racing. Let's actually go on board here with the 51. See how he's attacking these corners here as we'll listen to the throttle. Ooh, we see the car step out a little bit there. He had to do a little bit of counter steering there.
Oh, the 85 of Judd dangerously clips the apron and gets a little out of control. He manages to keep the car under control enough to not wreck it, but that really cost him some positions.
Looks like turn 4 seems to be the nemesis right now, because that's 2 laps in a row. We've seen the 51 get a little bit sideways coming out of the corner, but
as the 2 of Jonathan Wall is underneath the 8 of Nick Crawford, he will take the position there, and that allows the 10 to slide underneath as well.
As we have the prime camera for that happening, is it's literally right in front of us. That is the 8 of Nick Crawford directly in front as we are riding on board with the 51 of Bruce Ackerman, so we were actually able to watch that battle happen through the eyes of a driver. We hear these guys letting out very early into the corner, so that's definitely telling me that there's not a lot of rubber.
Pit stops are starting to happen.
See the 2 of Jonathan Wall. He made his way down pit road there. Now we see the 51 of Bruce Ackerman. He is closing the gap on the 8 of Nick Crawford. Meanwhile, out front, David Washington has managed to make it around the 88 of Andrew Farnas, so hand the lead back over to the 98 of David Washington, as right now we have Bruce Ackerman making a move to the inside. He will take 5th spot away from the 8 of Nick Crawford. Right now we see the 11 of Glenn Meering. Right now he is being scored in 10th. As we see the 51 of Bruce Ackerman is going to make his way down pit road, so green flag stops are in effect here at Texas Motor Speedway as we are working a lap 85 of 250 here.
The 11 of
Glenn Meering.
Glenn Meering is on pit road. He's showing a lap down. He takes 4 tires and fuel. As the 51 slides through his pit box a little bit here, the right sides are up. He's going to take 4 and fuel, and he'll be down and away.
We see more cars filtering their way down to pit road as we see the 22 of Joshua Ramos. Right there is your race leader, the 98 of David Washington.
The 71 is on pit road, the 91.
We see the 10 of Ken Richardson there. Right now he is your 4th place car. Brian Johnson in the 28 is your 3rd place, and the 88 of Andrew Farnas is still our P2 car at the moment.
91, 4 in fuel. 71 and I didn't see what that other car was.
And the 10 of Ken Richardson is coming down pit road right now.
So looking at it, everybody is taking 4 tires and fuel so far.
So we see the 70 and the 71 making their way off the apron on the backstretch, getting back up to speed after their pit stops. Right now, the 70 of Mike Donahue
with 4 in fuel,
being scored in 12th place, 1 lap down. Meanwhile, that will hand your lead over to the 28 of Brian Johnson, which means the 88 and the 98 both have made their way down pit road.
Both those cars and the 10 car all took 4 in fuel, so everybody's electing to take 4 tires and fuel. Probably a good choice with this many laps we got left to go here.
Well, also those laps that we rode on board with the 51 of Bruce Ackerman, we did notice that coming out of 4, the car did tend to get a little bit loose. So that definitely makes the right rear tire very angry on these cars if you repeat that lap after lap. As right now, race leader is on pit road. That will hand the lead over to the 8 of Nick Crawford.
As the right sides are up on Brian's car, and left sides will go on, and he will be down and away. And we have the 8 car of Nick Crawford coming down pit road this time by, is what I hear.
All right, so it's looking after pit stops have taken place. Our top 10 now is going to consist of the number 2 of Jonathan Wall out front leading as Nick Crawford has made his way down pit road. The 98 of David Washington is our 2nd place car. The 88 of Andrew Farnas in 3rd. Bruce Ackerman in the 51 will be our 4th place car. The 10 right there we see of Ken Richardson. He is currently being scored in the 5th spot. Brian Johnson will be our 6th place car. Kevin Fetty in the 91 7th, Judd Danielson the 85 8th, Glenn Meering 9th, and Charlie Sanborn will round out the top 10.
And I do believe that will cycle all the pit stops out through here.
As right now we're going to have a battle for the lead as the 98 of David Washington has caught the 2 of Jonathan Wall, and they are neck to neck as they race into 1 and 2 here, as well as the 88, so they are both going to motor right around the 2, so that's going to drop the 2 of Jonathan Wall back to 3rd, hand the race lead back over to the 98 of David Washington, and right on his heels is the 88 of Andrew Farnas. As we're coming to lap 100 here shortly, we've had a nice long green run here. We've just completed a full set of green flag pit stops. Go ahead and bring up the summary. We have 93 laps in the books. We've had 6 lead changes, 3 cautions for 11 laps. Right now our top 5 is the 98 of David Washington, Andrew Farnas in the 88 2nd, Jonathan Wall in the 2 3rd, Bruce Ackerman in the 51 4th, and Ken Richardson in that 10 machine will round out the top 5.
So right now the laps are pretty close to split even on laps led here. David Washington's led 47. Andrew Fairnos has led 41. So that number for David's going to keep climbing here unless Andrew can get back out in front of him.
Oh, as we see the 51 and Bruce Ackerman touch the wall again there in the quad oval, that's going to slow him down and allow the 10 of Ken Richardson to have that bottom side all to himself to make the passes. He's going to do so as they come out of 2. So we see the 51's going to try and do the crossover. He's got the run on the inside as they go into 3. They're still door to door as they come out of turn 4 through the quad oval. Right now, Ken Richardson is still holding on to that spot as Bruce was not able to make the pass, so he's going to fall back in line. Behind Bruce, we see the 28 of Brian Johnson. He is currently our 6th place car. As we take a look at the 8 of Nick Crawford, he is currently being scored as your 10th place car.
I'm watching the interval between that 98 and the 88, and it is continually, even ever so slowly, but it is continually gaining.
Continuously? I know we're both very tired, and big words are hard to pronounce for us on good days, let alone days when we're tired, so I'm not going to falter for that one. I'll just jump in and be the grammar Nazi.
Oh, it looks like
see a violent twitch there. Very violent twitch as the rear end on the 8 car stepped out there, but it does not seem to have affected his speed as he's able to go around the 11 of Glenn Meering. So that's going to put Nick Crawford up to 9th place. As right now we take a look at the race leader. He has stretched that out to a 0.6 of a second lead over 2nd place of Andrew Fairnos in the 88. I'm
almost wondering if that might have been a little bit of net code there, because it doesn't appear there's any damage on that 8 car of Nick Crawford.
Honestly, looking at it, it didn't look like he got the wall from looking down the backstretch. It's like the car stepped out, but he was able to catch it before it got two-tail happy and made contact with the wall.
As David Washington is having to contend with some lap traffic here, they're going to pull out of his way, and he's going to drive by the 70 car.
That would be Mike Donahue. As the next car he's going to be coming up on will be the 71 of Keith Nelson, running the old Brad Keselowski Jr. Motorsports Navy paint scheme. So now we can stretch the interval out to a 0.7 of a second lead over 2nd right now, as we are now on lap 102.
These lap down cars are being very nice here. They're kind of just moving out of the way where they need to. They're not trying to hold the leaders up any. I mean, the 71, he's trying to stay on the lead lap here, but he's definitely going to get past.
As he does so right there, that will put him a lap down, leaving 11 cars on the lead lap. The next victim to be put a lap down will be the 11th place car of Charlie Sanborn. As we see the 88 of Andrew Fairnos, he is our 2nd place car. See how he makes his way around the 71 of Keith Nelson.
I mean, Keith's already a lap down. He'll probably just kind of move up out of the way or down out of the way and let the 88 just roll on by. No sense to beat your equipment up if you're already gone. But having to contend with that lap traffic, that has set Andrew back almost 0.8 of a second.
I think now the biggest thing that we're going to be talking about is lap traffic. As we see the leaders continuing to run such a blistering pace, we can see directly in front of the leader is the one of Charlie Sanborn. So he is right now in danger of going a lap down as he runs the high side. That's going to allow the 98 of David Washington to power through the corner and put the 11 of Charlie Sanborn down a lap, which will leave 10 cars remaining, and right in front of him will be the next car to go a lap down. Excuse me, I had that backwards. That was the 1 of Charlie Sanborn, and in front of him is the 11 of Glenn Meering. As we see right here, Glenn is on the high side. David is going to make the easy pass going through 3 and 4. That will put 9 cars on the lead lap, as the next car to go a lap down will be the 85 of Judd Danielson. As we see the 43 of Chad Payne there. David making very easy work of that.
Speaking of pain, it's painful to watch these cars right now. I mean, they're just getting hammered on. I mean, they're going to have the whole field a lap down here before too long.
Well, this is very reminiscent of the season opener with the Diehard Racing League at Daytona, where I think there was only, what, 5 cars on the lead lap at the end of the race?
Yeah, there wasn't many.
Well, by cars, I should say trucks, seeing how we are now into the truck series. We have officially retired the K&N car for good after running it last season. And next season, we will rotate over to the Xfinity Series cars, which 2 seasons ago we ran that, and the drivers absolutely love that. So we will alternate back and forth between the B car and the truck. Smells so good, as catering has just arrived and we've got some food up here in the booth, so that's going to make for some entertaining things. As right now out front it's still David Washington in the 98 with a 9/10 of a second lead over second place, the 88 of Andrew Fernaz, and the 10 of Ken Richardson has made his way up to the 3rd spot.
You know, Art, the big thing about Texas, everything's supposed to be bigger here in Texas. So I figured, after my feed at Las Vegas at the all-you-can-eat buffet, I figured, I'd be able to find a big all-you-can-eat buffet here at Texas. No such luck.
Then how'd I get free food?
It definitely wasn't from the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Well, I'd hope not. Because that meant it was in your suitcase all the way from last week, and God knows where that suitcase has been since then. So we've got our own Diehard Racing's Josue Tellis in live chat right now, and yes, it's always about food.
Oh, it's the 71s through the grass.
That would be Keith Nelson. So you see the 51 of Bruce Ackerman once again get the wall coming out of turn 4. That's going to open the door for Kevin Fetty to make a move. That will put the 91 of Kevin Fetty up to 5th spot and move the 51 of Bruce Ackerman back to 6th.
And looky here, I didn't think we'd see this coming, but as the 2 leaders have cleared lap traffic, Andrew Fernaz is on a tear. He is going to make a move here for the 1st place position again.
They're door to door as they go into 3 here right now. The 88 has got the run on the 98, but let's see how David can react to it on the outside line as they make it out of 4 and come through the quad oval. We see the 98 possibly get a little chunk of that wall there, which is going to allow the 88 to clear, so hand the lead back over to the 88 of Andrew Fernaz. Well, Josue, for you, in order to find that, you'd have to go to one of the many bars where usually on the weekends they're line dancing to find the tickle bitties, but everything usually is bigger in Texas, and that is no exception when it comes to the racing here with the Mr. Shift Racing League, as we are about to put 118 laps in the books.
As David is hammering on that bumper, the 88,
and he's going to take it.
Pass.
So we see the 10 of Ken Richardson. He is right now in third spot, but quite a ways back from the front two cars.
As it stands right now, we only have 7 cars on the lead lap.
Looking through your top 10 out front right now, it is once again David Washington with a 0.3 of a second lead over second place of the 88 of Andrew Farnaz. Ken Richardson in the 10 car there in third spot. The 28 of Brian Johnson in fourth. Kevin Fetty in the 91 in fifth spot. Nick Crawford in the 8th, 6th. Judd Danielson, 7th, last car on the lead lap. Keith Nelson, first car lap down, sitting in the lucky dog spot. Have the caution come out right now. He is being scored in 8th. Glenn Meering in the 11th, 9th, and Charlie Sanborn in the 1 will round out the top 10 here at Texas.
You know, Art, I have to wonder there if David just got a little bored riding around out front there by himself, and he says, let's take this boy to school and let him get by me and show him how to pass.
Given the skills that we've seen come from the 98 of David Washington, I would not argue that one bit.
I mean, you've been in that position. I've been in that position, although ever so rarely, that you're riding around out front with a commanding lead and you just get bored sitting out there running.
Well, actually, if I'm out there and I've got that big of a lead, I usually tend to push the car just as hard to try and keep that gap as far as it is, or even try to increase it, as we've seen at my runs at Auto Club in Michigan in the B Open Series. If I've got a setup that I know I can be good on the long run, I'm going to try and extend the lead as long as possible at the same time while maintaining my race pace without beating the car up too bad. But a lot of times with the wins that I've pulled off, I've had over a 5-6 second lead, and it's whittled down to literally just a couple tenths at the time the checker would come out, because I'm literally at that point just mirror driving. As green flag stops are underway, we're going to come to lap 125 here. Next time by, it will be halfway.
So I have the 43 and the 91 both on pit road, 4 tires and fuel for both of those guys. They're both down and away, coming back up onto the track. The 11 is Glenn Meering is on pit road.
So right now, as it stands, our race leader, David Washington, has extended it out to a 6, now 7/10 second lead over second place of Andrew Farnas.
And the 11 is down and away with 4 tires and fuel. The 71 is on pit road, taking right sides right now. Left side's going on. The 70 was on pit road. He took 4 tires and maybe some repairs. Both of them are down and away.
So we are now past the halfway point. 126 laps in the books here at Texas.
The 85 of Judd Danielson is on pit road. He has got the right side's on, the left side's going on now, and he's down and away.
Once again, for those of you who are just now tuning in, we are live with the Mr. Schiff Racing League at the Bucks Unlimited 375 here at Texas Motor Speedway in beautiful Fort Worth, Texas.
As both of our leaders are on pit road in their pit boxes. Great stops by both these guys. Right sides are coming off. The left sides are going back on now, and it looks like the 98 is down and away now, the 88. So the 98 will keep ahead of the 88. The one of Charlie Sanborn is down and away. He's taken 4 tires and fuel.
And while all that has taken place, that will hand the race lead over to the 28 of Brian Johnson, move Ken Richardson up to second and Nick Crawford up to third. As we see the 85 of Judd Danielson, he is currently being scored in 8th place, 1 lap down, just outside of the contention for the Lucky Dog. As right now, the Lucky Dog goes to the 91 of Kevin Petty should the caution flag fly.
And there goes the 10 car, down and away. He had taken 4 tires and fuel, got on it a little hot out of his box and got a little sideways.
Right now we take a look at the 88 of Andrew Fernandez. He is currently right now in 4th spot. David Washington has made his way back up to 3rd, but we will see those intervals start to not slowly, but very quickly decrease as they are on fresh tires with a full load of fuel versus your leaders right now, the 8 and the 28, who are still out on old equipment. So we should see the 98 start reeling in the 8 car pretty quick right now. Hand the race lead over to the 8 of Nick Crawford as something mysterious has happened to the 28 of Brian Johnson. As we see, your leader is now down on pit road. Nick Crawford on pit road. That will hand the lead back over to the 98 of David Washington.
Yeah, I'm trying to review the tape here. Oh, he's coming down to pit road and just smokes the inside pit wall.
Unfortunate break there for the 28 of Brian Johnson.
As left sides are off, right sides are off on the 8. Now the left sides go up. And he's down and away. Unfortunate break for Brian there. He was coming down pit road and looks like he just got in there a little too hot and nose head on into the inside catch.
So we've got a battle for the lead right now. The 88 is going to power through going into turn 3 and take the lead away from the 88 of David Washington. So hand the lead back over to the 88 of Andrew Fernandez as they come to lap 134 here. I don't know if that's just a strategy call on the 98 or what, but the 88 just absolutely blew his doors off going into the corner.
I think you're going to find he's going to let the 88 run his car and run it hard. He's going to let him burn his stuff down. He's just going to walk right by him. I mean, we're just over halfway here. I mean, they still got at least 1 more, if not 2 more pit stops.
Speaking of pit stops, the next time we come to Texas, do not, and I repeat, do not get a double big gulp again, because I did not enjoy stopping 18 times for you to use the bathroom on the way here.
Hey, if you'd have just let me drill the hole in the floor, I'd have just gone as we were going down the road, okay?
It was a rental car!
That's all right. They would have never known. We just put the carpet back over it.
Yeah, it wasn't your name on the credit card. So right now, looking at it, there are 5 cars, 5 cars on the lead lap. Kevin Fetty right now is the last car on the lead lap. The 85 of Judd Danielson is being scored in 6th. First car lap down, so if the caution would come out, Judd Danielson would receive the lucky dog. But this just goes to show right now, as they have completed 2 sets back-to-back of green flag pit stops, that they can set an absolutely blistering pace around this track.
You know, Art, I'm beginning to wonder if there ain't something wrong with David's car, if he's dragging a brake or something.
I was just about to mention that. 3.5 seconds back behind the 88. I don't know if, even if I knew I was faster, I don't think that'd be the kind of mind game I'd be playing. Although it did shrink down to a 3.4 second lead, but still, that's a lot of distance here, especially when you see 2 cars that are as fast as the 88 and the 98. He's reeled it in another 10th. He's brought it down to 3.3. He might have actually come up and brushed the wall a little bit out of the corner, which might have scrubbed some of the speed off, and the reason why we're seeing that.
I don't know. There's no evidence of any damage on the car.
Well, as we see the 8 of Nick Crawford, it looked like he got down in the grass and shot back out on the track there. We get a good look at Boudreaux's butt paste, the main sponsor there on the 91 of Kevin Fetty, your 5th place car.
All right, now David's back in his rhythm here. He is starting to reel him back in. He's back down to about 2.9 seconds.
I'm wondering if that car just didn't step out on him.
Maybe, or maybe it just doesn't seem like it wants to get up and run on a on fresh rubber. Maybe you got a bad set of tires.
Harry put some special ones on. All right, folks, while this is still wide open green flag racing and not much is changing, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we will return with more flag-to-flag coverage here at Texas Motor Speedway. As we are looking right now at your race leader, the 88 of Andrew Farnas. Looking at the split behind, the 98 of David Washington has managed to recover a lot of that ground lost as he's reeled it down to a 1.3 second deficit between him and the 88. So now, as we see the lap traffic being the main contender here, it's going to be how fast you can get in and around these lap cars and how cleanly you could do it without losing speed and losing time. As we see the one of Charlie Sanborn, he's going to stay high. Let the 98 motor through out of turn 4 as we're coming to 100 laps to go here shortly, just a few laps away. As we see now, the lead stretched back is now down to a half a second between the 98 and the 88. So David is driving the wheels off of that car right now to try and catch back up to the 88 of Andrew Farnaz, as now the gap is even shorter as David powers it down into turns 1 and 2. He has reeled that into a 0.3 of a second lead. As we can see right there behind our race leader is the second place car of David Washington. So things are about to get heated again here at Texas, as we are going to possibly be seeing yet another battle for the lead.
You know, I think we're going to have to ask David about this, see what happened.
As he's closed the gap now to just over a 0.1 of a second lead. We are currently seeing the 91 car of Kevin Petty. He is being scored in 3rd spot right now. Taking a brief look through the top 10, out front it is Andrew Farnaz right now, but he has got the 98 all over the back of him. That would be the second place car of David Washington. Kevin Fetty holding down that 3rd spot. Judd Danielson in the 85, 4th. Keith Nelson, 5th. Ken Richardson, 6th. Bruce Ackerman, 7th. Charlie Sanborn, 8th. Glenn Meering, 9th. And Mike Donahue in the 70 is going to round out the top 10. And I think the interesting thing to note is, according to IRTVO, it's showing that only the 98 and the 88 are on the lead lap right now, as they are battling for the lead right now as they come out of turn 4. As David wasted no time getting around the 88. However, the 10 of Ken Richardson did slow him up. We saw the 88 there of Andrew Farnaz. He had the run, but he opted to stab on the brakes. So once again, hand the lead back over to the 98. It seems that we're just going to be swapping positions back and forth all night. And I cannot believe that I'm actually reading this correctly, but there are only 2 cars on the lead lap, 1st and 2nd, right there in screen.
Yeah, I'm really not sure what's happening here. I mean, these guys are just dominating.
Well, you know what they say, especially in the beer industry, the cream rises to the top, and right now I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now between the 98 and the 88. Both of them are laying down insanely fast laps right now, and I honestly don't think, short of either the 98 or the 88 wrecking out, that we're going to see anything less but the same pace held as we are coming to lap 157 at the stripe this time by. All right, with 2 cars on the lead lap, I think there's one thing that is fairly safe bet I think we could do, and that's going to be to crank it up.
Don't you dare run over my diggers.
Well, then I won't tell you that I told every single driver to aim for him.
It's all right. I recessed them far enough into the track here at Texas so they can't run them over too bad.
I also had him drop the truck arms. So you see the 71 of Keith Nelson making his way down pit road. I think this is the first time in Crank It Up history that we've only seen like 2 or 3 cars in the frame at one time. So looking at the scoring sheet here, we're seeing a lot of drivers who I guess they're tired of getting their ass whooped by the 98 and the 88. We're down to 11 cars left in the field here. A lot of the drivers have manually disconnected from the server, as right now we can see that only the front 2 cars are on the lead lap. And we are only on lap 164, so there's still a ton of racing left here, and the field seems to be dwindling down more and more and more. I almost think a competition caution should come out and everybody should get the wave arounds and put everybody back on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're a lap down. 7th and 8th are 2 laps down. 9th is 3 laps down. 10th is 4, and 11th is 7. So, I mean, it's just, Texas has just not been kind to these drivers.
Well, I think in the one bright side we could say is, despite the ass whooping that's going on right now, so we see the 85 of Judd Danielson. He's going to bring down pit road as well as the 1 of Charlie Sanborn. We're seeing a lot of these names that normally we're not familiar with seeing running up in the top 10 that much, which is going to be a great points night for them.
88's on pit road, getting 4 tires. He'll top that off with Sunoco race fuel, and he'll be down and away.
Well, I just looked at the infield, and I can see a lot of haulers making their way down the tunnel and out of the track right now.
98's in his pit box as the right sides come up. He's down and away with a full tank and 4 tires.
see the positions have been swapped. The 88 of Andrew Fernandez is back out front. Now that is going to be pretty much the only lead lap battle for position, as pretty much the remaining cars are all down a lap. They may momentarily be back up on the lead lap for now, but they do have to come down for... Oh, we got a car hard on the wall. Caution is out.
Caution's out.
That's the 51 of Bruce Ackerman, I believe, is going to bring that one out.
No, I believe that's the 1 of Charlie Sanborn. I got the 1 hard into the inside wall. Okay.
All right, we're going to take a look here. We can see as we move backwards a little bit, we'll go back about lap and a half. We'll put it Fox, and we'll see what exactly happens here with the 51 as we watched it in the Crank It Up cam. Let's see what happens. He's coming in through 3 and 4 here. I think what happens is the car just steps out on him. He gets a piece of the wall there, and he gets a little piece from the 11, which turns him around hard as he goes backwards to complete that lap across the flag stand. That will bring the caution flag out. So not what Bruce wanted to see.
And while that was happening, the 1 of Charlie Sanborn kind of did the same thing in the opposite end of the track. He comes up off the corner, gets into the wall, and it shoots him right down hard into the inside wall.
So this right here could be the chance, provided the leaders don't stay out, that we'll only see a lucky dog. Now, my guess would be that they would come down pit road, which they will. So Judd Danielson will stay out to get one of his laps back. That will put him down to 1 lap down. You see the 88 is down the way. He's going to win the race off of pit road, and Ken Richardson is going to beat the 98 of David Washington off of pit road. I think a caution was long overdue as we see the entire field in front of the leaders here. They're going to probably... these 3 cars probably stay out. Now I can see the extensive damage that you were talking about on the 1 of Charlie Sanborn, which it was odd that we did have pretty much the same thing happening on both ends of the track as we see pretty much all the lap cars going down pit road. So that's going to keep them trapped a lap down. And that will leave, I believe, just a lucky dog. Unless the lucky dog was involved in the caution, which would change it. So right now I am seeing 7 cars on the lead lap, and just got word that the 51 of Bruce Ackerman has disconnected, so he is done for the night. That will leave 10 cars in the race, so 5 cars are left on the lead lap now. So you see the 98 of David Washington. He's going to duck down pit road and top off his tank with Sunoco race fuel as we are still under caution here at Texas. Lap 173. The lights are out on the pace car, so we're going to double them up again. And with David Washington coming down pit road, that's going to hand third spot over to the 91 of Kevin Fetty. Ken Richardson will be starting first car on the outside in second. David Washington is being shown right now in fifth spot. Keith Nelson in the 71 has made his way to fourth. Judd Danielson, the first car being laps down. He is 2 laps down, being scored in sixth. The one of Charlie Sanborn right now is our 7th place car. Glenn Meering is 8th. And Chad Payne, once he makes it enough laps around Bruce Ackerman, who disconnected, will inherit the 9th spot. And the 70 of Mike Donahue will round out not only the top 10, but the field as well. As the pace car dives down to the UPS logo, green flag is back out. Good jump by the 88. We are back racing. Lap 174 here at Texas Motor Speedway. Now we see here, this is the battle for fourth between, actually the battle for third between the 71 of Keith Nelson and the 91 of Kevin Fetty. Kevin Fetty is in third. Keith Nelson in that 71 machine is in fourth. Judd Danielson behind them is not poor position, nor is the one car of Charlie Sanborn. Glenn Meering right now is the next car that would be position-wise, but he is right now already been passed by the 98 of David Washington as he has made his way back to 5th position. I think right now David has just done so much as far as domination that he wants a little bit of a challenge. He opted to go back down pit road that extra time for a splash and go, which would put him back at the tail end of the lead lap. So now maybe he wants to do something for these last 70 odd remaining laps here at Texas, as we see him right now moving on the outside of the 85 of Judd Danielson as they come out of 2. Now he's going to set sail and put his sights on the 91 of Kevin Fetty, who has been passed by the 71 of Keith Nelson, so move Keith Nelson up to third spot. Ken Richardson still in second, and Andrew Fairnaw is still out front in the 88 leading this race. So we see the 98 come storming in. You see the 98 of David Washington looking low on the 91 of Kevin Fetty as they come out of turn 2. He's going to take that spot away. So move David Washington up to 4th. Kevin Fetty back to 5th. As we see the 71 of Keith Nelson, that is the next contender that David Washington is going to knock out for third spot.
I believe there is only one car on the track that is even going to be able to hold that 98 up at all, and that is going to be the 88 of Andrew Fairnass.
So right now we see the 98 looking low on the 71 of Keith Nelson, so move David Washington up to P3 as he's now going to put his sights on the 10 of Ken Richardson to take over second spot. So right now we see the 98 of David Washington once again utilizing that low line. He has made his way around the 10 of Ken Richardson, so hands second place back over to the 98 of David Washington, as he has now got a 2.1 second deficit to make up on the current race leader, the 88 of Andrew Farnas. So you saw there on the backstretch of that one camera, it looks like the one of Charlie Sanborn got loose off a tour. He might have touched that wall again, and he went hard down to the inside wall.
Yeah, again, I think he misjudged the corner and ran out of real estate. He took it hard into the outside, sends him down into the inside, and just tears that number one NOS car up again.
So looking at the interval now, David Washington has managed to chop it down to a 1.6 second gap. So he is steady reeling in the 88 of Andrew Farnas, but there's still plenty of race left here. And with only 10 cars on the track remaining in the field, I think this should be some easy work. And I do believe that we will go probably green flag till the end here. As I'm steady keeping an eye on the interval between first and second, David Washington is still reeling in that 88 of Andrew Farnas, as it's down to, it was at a 1.3, now it's stretched back out to a 1.4, but I don't think it'll be long before we see, because we do know that the 98 will be able to stay out just maybe a lap or two more than the 88, because he did come down pit road just before one to green for a splash and go to pack that 98 full of Sunoco race fuel.
Rain delay, end the race.
Unfortunately, it is very sunny here in Texas. There is no rain. To see the 85 of Judd Danielson, he is currently being scored right now in 6th, 2 laps down. So we will run through the top 10. Out front, we have the 88 of Andrew Farnas leading with a 1.1 second lead, now down to a 1 second lead over second place, the 98 of David Washington. The 10 of Ken Richardson in third, 71 of Keith Nelson fourth, 91 of Kevin Petty fifth, Judd Danielson sixth, Glenn Meering 7th, Chad Payne 8th, Mike Donahue 9th, and Charlie Sanborn will round out the top 10 and the field here.
As the 98 of David Washington is almost within 1 second, he is right there on the 1 second line.
And now he's just right under it. Both the 88 and the 98 are absolutely on a rail, so As we're creeping ever closer to the 50 to go mark here. We have 8 laps till 50 to go. So you see that gap now holding right at 7/10 of a second. The 98 is definitely reeling in the 88. And I think right now he literally on that last stop coming down, taking that extra splash and go, I think he just wanted to challenge himself and see what he could do moving from the tail of the lead lap back up to the front of the pack. And as the run is going on, we've seen he's made his way all the way back to second already. And the gap is staying quite consistent now. It's right around a second to 9/10. So the only thing working right now in his favor, unless he's just absolutely playing around with the throttle and just driving it really easy, he will be able to go further than the 88 on this tank of fuel. And depending on how hard he's driving the car, he might be able to go a little bit longer on tires as well, as he doesn't appear to really be in too much of a hurry to try and catch that 88 car.
I mean, he's still looking at just over 50 to go here, so I mean...
55 laps here to go at Texas, so still a lot of race left. So what more better time than to go back to crank it up here? Well, it wasn't necessarily involved in wrecks. Before the last caution came out, there was only 2 cars on the lead lap, and I think a lot of the drivers pretty much just gave up at that point. So right now we're seeing 9 cars remaining in the race, as it looks like the one of Charlie Sanborn is taking it behind the wall. "49 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. It is still Andrew Farnaz out front with a 1.4 second lead over second place of David Washington. Ken Richardson is holding down 3rd spot, Keith Nelson in 4th, Kevin Fetty 5th, Judd Danielson 6th, Glenn Marion 7th, Chad Payne 8th, and Mike Donahue rounds out the field in 9th. And we have a caution on the track. So now this will definitely set things up for everybody now. They should be able to make it on fuel pitting under caution here, so it'll be interesting to see how strategy plays out as lead lap cars make their way down pit road right now. Well, it took us a little while to find the caution, but it will be the 11 of Glenn Meering who brought that one out. We're going to go back and see exactly what happened. Now we see the 11 on track here. We're going to see exactly what happened to the 11 car. Oh, we see him getting the grass there. He came out. Oh, he gets the wall going in the quad oval down to the apron, and unfortunately it sends him up into the wall, slides him back down the track, or stops him on the track, and we see the 70 of Mike Donahue barely scraped by on the high line. See Kevin Fetty get a piece of the wall. That might have been the 43 of Chad Payne, but that right there is going to bring the caution out. All right, so the lights on the pace car are out. We're going to double them up again as we see the two fastest cars of the night right now. Andrew Fairnaugh on the 88 on the inside, and David Washington in the 98 on the outside. That is first and second. Row 2, third spot belongs to the 10 of Ken Richardson. Keith Nelson in that 71 machine is our fourth place car. The 91 of Kevin Fetty is our fifth and last car on the lead lap. Sixth goes to the 85 of Judd Danielson. Seventh goes to Glenn Meering. Eighth is Chad Payne and Mike Donahue. Ninth. Pace car gets ready to make its way onto pit road as it exits turn 4. We will get this race underway and hopefully run it to the end. Green flag is out. Good jump by the 88. We are back racing. 44 laps to go here at Texas Motor Speedway. So we see the 98 of David Washington there set the 10 car up as they come out of turn 4. He's going to have the advantage on the inside going through the quad oval. And as he makes it down to turn 1, he will complete the pass. So that'll move the 98 back up to second spot as he's going to make the run to try and get back by the 88 of Andrew Farnaugh. So just taking a look here, we're going to go through a couple statistics here. Right now, our current race leader, Andrew Farnaugh, started second. He's led 106 laps. He is still currently our leader. His fastest lap was a 27.413. His last was a 27.534. And now if we go to the second place car, the 98 of David Washington, we will look at his stats. David Washington started on pole. He's led 92 laps, currently sitting in second. His fastest was a 27.393, and his last time by was a 27.569. So we see the 11 of Glenn Meering back out on track, so that's good to see that we still have 9 cars remaining in this race. So right now it looks like we've got a battle up front for the lead. The 98 of David Washington has made his way around the 88 of Andrew Farnaugh, so hand the lead back over to David Washington.
No, me either. I think he's somebody just trolling by the looks of it now.
So with 36 laps to go here, David Washington has retaken the lead from the 88 of Andrew Farnaugh. Can he hold him off for 35 more as they take 35 to go here at the stripe this time?
As David Washington is back out front, teaching these guys once again.
So we're going to take a ride for a few laps from the rear view camera of our race leader, the 98 of David Washington.
It's all about the mind games. They know they're the only two that are in contention for the lead here. I think they're just horsing around.
There currently is only 5 cars on the lead lap here, and 9 cars total left in the race. So you see the 10 of Ken Richardson go flying by, the 91 of Kevin Fetty. See the 71 of Keith Nelson. So hand the lead over now to the 10 of Ken Richardson. So right now, hand the lead over to the 91 of Kevin Fetty as me and Alan are absolutely, completely mind-boggled as to how the 91, the 71, and the 10 have gone around the 98 and the 71. You see
can't imagine
right there
those
the
two
91.
I can't imagine those two giving up that much track position that quick with only 27 laps to go.
Psychological warfare is all I could think of. Right now, Kevin Fetty is holding a 0.6 of a second lead over second place of Keith Nelson. So right now it appears we have just the 2 new contenders here for the lead here. Right now Kevin Fetty's got a commanding half-second lead over the 71 of Keith Nelson. So 23 laps to go. Anything is game right now because I think we've pretty much seen it all. I don't know what went on as to how the front 3 cars had gotten around the 98, but now we see the 98 of David Washington putting pressure on the 10 of Ken Richardson. 91 is coming down pit road, and the 71 will stay out. So that will hand the lead over to the 71 of Keith Nelson. Right now he's holding a... It looks like Richardson might have made his way down pit road as well. You see the 91 making his way back out on pit road, so that will cycle David Washington up to second, and we see Ken Richardson there on track. And we will be having the 88 come down pit road, as well as our race leader, the 71 of Keith Nelson. He's going to come down pit road, and I do believe the 98 of David Washington. So all your leaders are coming down pit road, minus, I think what they're doing here is trying to put as many people back on the lead lap as possible without throwing a caution. So right now, score your leader is the 10 of Ken Richardson. And now we see the 10 of Ken Richardson down on pit road. So when they come back around to the scoring loop, that should put the 71 of Keith Nelson as our leader. I've seen a lot of things in iRacing, and this is definitely a first. As we see the 71 of Keith Nelson getting back up to speed after taking his service, he right now is being scored not as the leader yet. Right now we see Kevin Fetty in second. Ken Richardson still holding on to that lead.
I'll tell you what, I know I'm tired, but I'm still confused and lost as to what is going on.
Yeah, you and me both.
With everybody coming down pit road with 20 to go, I was sure they could have made it from where they were.
Well, there's no doubt they could have made it on fuel and everything. So hand the lead back over to the 91 of Kevin Fetty. David Washington is second. Andrew Farinato third. Ken Richardson fourth. Keith Nelson fifth. Judd Danielson sixth. Chad Payne seventh. Mike Donahue eighth. And Glenn Meering ninth. As it'll be 17 laps this time. We have no clue, Rob. We've been sitting here racking our brains for the past 20 laps trying to figure out how the position swap happened, and then the weird timing of everybody coming down pit road with such a short distance remaining in the race here.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to ask about that during interviews and see if we can figure out what happened.
So right now, Kevin Fetty has a 4-second lead over second place David Washington. Can he hold that off for 14 laps this time by at the line? iRacing that used to be able to do that, it was called grip hacking, but now that the easy anti-cheat is in place, you can't do that anymore. So that just adds another layer of confusion as to how the events have transpired as to what we're seeing on the track.
That's because he's got no choice if he wants to win this. I mean, he's got to keep it out front there in that clean air and just keep it rolling as fast as he can. I mean, we have 13 laps to go. We're going to have 12 to go this time by.
And just under 3 seconds now, as David Washington has reeled it in to 2.8 now. So Kevin's definitely going to be feeling the pressure here in the next few laps, as right now he's coming up on the 43 of Chad Payne to put him down another lap. 10 to go next time by, and a lead that is slowly shrinking back down. It is down to a 2.3 second lead, 2.2 now, over second place of David Washington. Right now, Kevin Fetty is in the drive for his life right now to stay in the top spot and bring home the checkered flag. As it's now dropped down to 1.8 seconds, 1.7. I'm pretty sure with about maybe 8 or 7 to go, we'll see the 98 making the pass. As right now we see the interval is dropped down to 0.6 of a second, so look for any time now to see that red and yellow 98 driven by David Washington to make his way around the 91 of Kevin Fetty. As right here, as they come to take 7 laps to go, we can see David Washington 2 Fords up front. He's got his sights set on the back of that 91 car, and with a handful of laps remaining here at Texas, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a pass as we see him get right up on the back bumper here in 3 and 4.
Wow.
Look at the run he got going through.
The 98 just laid on that bumper as he was coming through.
The only thing that me and Alan have been able to come up with as a possible plausible thing is that the 98 and the 88 just decided to let out of the throttle completely and let the guys go past so they actually could play some games and see if they can make it back to the front. As David Washington has managed to do so, it'll be 5 more times around. And once again, we will be interviewing the 98 of David Washington in victory lane. So now, can Kevin hold on to second place with 4 laps to go this time by? So 3 more circuits around the track this time, and that 98 will once again be in victory lane this season. Meanwhile, we're going to shift our focus back to the 91 of Kevin Fetty to see if he can hold on for 2 more laps and keep that 88 of Andrew Farnaw behind him. Basically about less than a lap and a half remaining here at Texas. Can Kevin Fetty hold on to a second place finish? So we see right there behind him is the 88 of Andrew Farnaw, and it's white flag is out, last lap here at Texas. we already know who's going to win the race, but now it's going to be who is going to bring home second and who's going to come in third as we see the 91 and the 88. And it does appear David Washington will take the checkered flag. Kevin Fetty will come home second, and Andrew Farnos will come home third. Ken Richardson fourth, Keith Nelson fifth, Judd Danielson sixth, Chad Payne seventh, Mike Donahue eighth, Glenn Meering will round out the field in ninth. So long race in the books, a lot of drivers apparently deciding that Texas wasn't the track for them and disconnecting from the server, which left us with basically a handful of cars. Absolutely dominating performance tonight by the 98 of David Washington and the 88 of Andrew Farnos. We definitely are going to get to the root of it and see what in the hell brought out that last chain of events that allowed the 91, the 10, and the 71 of Keith Nelson to get by, as we see victory celebrations are underway by the 98 of David Washington.
Andrew, how you doing? It's Alan up in the booth. Andrew, you got a copy? It's Alan up in the booth there. Good job bringing it home third.
Hey, thank you.
So, walk us through what happened there. You guys were, you and David were battling quite a bit there, and all of a sudden we see three cars go flying by you guys. What happened there?
Yeah, we both had good cars all night. We were about 3 laps short on gas, and we kind of made a team call to try to start saving there. Once we started saving, we realized we weren't going to get enough, and then we started going. So bad call on the team there, but we still brought it home top 3.
Well, that explains that. Very good job bringing it home top 3. This looks like it's your first race this season.
Yes, sir. I had a blast. Thanks everybody for putting on the show, and you guys for hosting it. All the audience who watched.
Well, awesome. We'll see you. Is it next week we go, or we got a week off?
Nope. Last week we had a week off because it was Martinsville. We will be back next week.
All right. So we'll see you next Tuesday, Andrew. Hope to see you up front again.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one.
That was your third place finisher, Andrew Farnon. Now we will bring in second place Kevin Fetty.
Didn't know if you.
All right, Kevin, you brought it home second tonight. We were kind of hoping that you had enough to hold off the 98 there at the end, but with about 7 to go, he made the pass, and then the focus shifted to see if you could hold on to the second spot, which you managed to do. So congratulations on bringing it home second tonight. It was a long race. It seems like we had a lot of drivers that just got frustrated with the track and disconnected from the server, but the remaining drivers that stuck it out, week in and week out, you guys have managed to put on one hell of a show with all the demonstration of excellent racecraft. So definitely a great points night for you. How'd it feel?
It felt like a long race, Art. The track was a little bit tricky. I don't know if it was a combination of the new physics for the Cup car and the weather and track settings, but used to be on the old settings that turn 2 was the tricky part. You'd either spin it down to the inside wall or whack the outside, and it seems that it's gone over to turn 4 where the front end will tend to skate across the top of the track and you're along for the ride. So very tricky, very satisfying to bring it home in second place.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it does have something to do with iRacing's new build on the Monster Energy Cup cars, because we did notice the same thing. Usually, as you had stated, that 1 and 2 was normally the trouble spot for these cars. It seemed like, and as we rode on board with the 51 to David Ackerman, we saw 3 laps back to back that he had to put some counter steer into that car because it was getting very tail happy coming out of there, and there was definitely a lot more throttle management that had to be done as the runs progressed. So I think iRacing tried to make a step forward, which they kind of did, but in the same respect, it's now you've got to relearn the other set of corners versus the 2 previous ones that you used to have to do.
That is exactly right. It used to be 1 and 2. You were careful and making sure you saved the car over there, and then you could just pretty much race through 3 and 4, and it's completely flipped now.
Well, it's finally a great opportunity to finally get you up here in the booth and interview you in the top 3. So once again, congratulations on the 2nd place. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank?
I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. The broadcasts have been fantastic. You hear a lot of good remarks about them. I want to thank Mike Donahue, my co-conspirator with this league. It wouldn't happen without him. I want to thank AccuRace Racing Controllers, and want to thank Amy, Callie, Sammy, and Tucker, my fan club / cheer group.
All right. Well, hopefully next week when we roll out to, I believe it's Auto Club, or no, we already put that one in the books. I believe we're going to Richmond, I think.
Yeah, I think it's 2 weeks, and we are headed to Bristol, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, Art.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the schedule myself. But hopefully next race that we call, we'll get to interview you again up here in the top 3. But once again, congratulations on that 2nd spot.
Thanks, Art. I appreciate it. Yeah, I could get used to talking to you guys after a race, so we need to do it more often.
Sounds like a plan. All right, that was our 2nd place finisher, the 91 of Kevin Fetty. Now, Alan, since you handled the 88, I want to see if you can get a different reaction out of the 98 and ask the same questions to him about that strategy move there.
David brought it home first. Once again, seems like every time you get it out on the track there, you're in the top 5 anyway. You know, we're watching you and Andrew there having a pretty good battle. And then all of a sudden, you guys got passed by 3 cars. What happened there?
We were trying to work out the fuel strategy there. We were actually going to stay out and not pit at all. But I was like, you know what? Well, let's just run a few more laps and bring it in and pit, take 2 right sides, and, you know, get enough fuel and see if we can run them back down. I think Andrew, he fell off a little bit from me. I thought he was going to stay on my bumper that last little run, but for whatever reason, he fell back a little bit, and that's what cost him at the end to get that 2nd spot.
I see. Now, are you and Andrew teammates? Oh, looks like we might be having some mic issues there.
Yeah, you hear me?
Well,
And once
there
again,
would
looks
be.
like we have some technical difficulties.
Well, hell yeah, I'd be throwing my helmet around in the car too if I won the race again. You're bound to have technicals with that.
You got me?
There we go. We got him back.
Yeah, microphone came unplugged from the helmet.
Well, that's definitely something that's a byproduct of good racing, though. You deserve it. Throw that damn thing out on the track. Let one of the track crews pick it up later, and just make sure you autograph it first and say, I schooled them all, and then he can wear it the next time that official series comes and runs here.
Most definitely.
But
yeah,
dominating performance by both you and the 88. We heard that you guys were short on fuel, and you had to make the impromptu strategy call, which then we saw in turn everybody come down pit road, which made for a very interesting last 30 laps. But At the end, once again, you come home with the checkered flag in hand, top of the points. Absolutely amazing job.
Yeah, I mean, I just ran this race last night for 100-something laps. It really doesn't matter what you really do. The track is this one here a little bit off of 4 because of the wind, but otherwise, I mean, 1 and 2 was great. I wish we'd have had that last night, but no, it was a fun race. I enjoy these races because they're long. You can work on your pit stops, work on your passing, and just try to be there at the end.
Well, this is definitely not your first win with the series, so you're, I think, the only repeat winner, so that's got to definitely feel really good. Congratulations on the win. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, I got to give a big shout out to Aegis. We got a heck of a team this season. Andrew's part of it. He's actually part of our second team. I figured I'd bring him over here to get him some laps in and keep training him and get him ready for Monday nights. Because like I said, this league here is great for the long runs. Just gets him used to the fast pace, especially when I'm on his bumper trying to make him make mistakes. But yeah, Andrew, Carl Shed, he wasn't able to be here tonight. Bruce Ackerman, Daniel Eberhardt, James Ross, Julio Tizzato. There's a whole bunch of guys that we race with every week, and we have a lot of fun. And you guys for broadcasting. I've actually got to sat back and watch a couple of these, and they are really good. And the guys that missed the shift for putting it on, Kevin and Mike there.
Well, definitely, yet again, another dominating performance. And if that was just putting Andrew through his paces, it definitely wouldn't have looked at it like that from our point of view. It was almost like, holy crap, we've got another contender there. But now knowing that it was just a test basically for him, I'd say he passed with flying colors as both of you guys dominated pretty much the entire race, both equally sharing just about the same amount of laps led. So absolutely hands down great job out of the stable by you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, you'll see him there. Pretty soon he should be passing me and taking off. That's what I'm hoping will happen. I'm no spring chicken, so he's the youngster out of the bunch. So I got big high hopes for him and Daniel to dominate.
All right. Well, once again, congratulations on the win, and we will see you at Bristol.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you there.
All right, that was our race winner, Mr. David Washington, who is also a repeat winner here with Mr. Shift Racing. With that being said, now we are going to go ahead and pull up the results here. Obviously, tonight coming home first is the 98 of David Washington. Kevin Fetty rips off a second-place finish, his best so far this season with the league. Andrew Fernaz, in his debut here at Texas with the league, brings it home third after co-dominating with the 98 of David Washington. The 10 of Ken Richardson is going to bring it home fourth. Keith Nelson in the 71 will be your fifth-place finisher. Judd Danielson will come home sixth. Chad Payne seventh. Mike Donahue eighth. Glenn Meering ninth. Charlie Sanborn's going to round out your top 10. Bruce Ackerman's going to bring it home 11th. Nick Crawford 12th. Brian Johnson 13th. Jonathan Wall 14th. Joshua Ramos 15th, Jake Dorton 16th, Tyler Roberts 17th, Curtis Young 18th, and Gary Weston is going to round out the field here tonight. So it was definitely, as we had heard from the drivers, a combination between the iRacing set change and, as David had pointed out, there was a wind coming out of turn 4, which that could have had a lot to do with upsetting the car's balance coming out of the corner, as we had seen a lot of cars getting loose out of 4. We'd seen a lot of cars coming up off of turn 2, getting a little bit of contact with the wall, sending them to the inside, and then sometimes back out to the outside. We saw the 51 of Bruce Ackerman get the safer barrier there in the quad oval and turn him around, which unfortunately ended his night. But all in all, even with only 9 cars remaining in the race, it was still a great finish to see. Alan, you got any final words before we throw this thing into overdrive and move on to Bristol?
Nah, overall it was a decent race. I wish we had more drivers. thank all the viewers for tuning in and sticking with us through the long race there, and we'll see what Bristol brings.
And that is correct. The next race that we will be broadcasting will be on April 25th at Bristol. It'll be 375 laps, 188 miles of bent fenders, and with this league, not bent tempers, because everybody is so laid back and relaxed. So for everybody here at Mr. Shift and Diehard Live TV, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, all the drivers for showing up week in and week out, putting on the show, making it such a great league for us to broadcast. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks to everybody for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the 25th for 188 miles and 375 laps at Bristol Motor Speedway. But that is not all that we are doing. Friday nights, you can catch us at 10:30 Central Time for the Green Flag with the Cyber Racing Association's K&N Automotive Solutions Series as they go into their second elimination round of the chase, where 8 drivers are fighting for the top 4 spots for the final race of the season to not only crown the champion, but who's going to bring home the Z's Custom diecast car that the champion also gets. And also, we are off this weekend with Die Hard Racing for Easter Sunday, but we will return the following Sunday. So there's still a lot of racing to go, but that's going to do it for us here tonight. Thanks to everybody, and we will see you at Bristol.